Hey everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Mom Show. It's Dr. D, mom of three. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I'm so excited for the topic that we're going to discuss today. Of course, don't forget before we start to like, comment, and share the video. You know, we're supposed to be supporting each other today. I think it's really ironic how many people are on my Facebook page and my other platforms such as Instagram, and how many people really look at the show, subscribe, share it. So I feel for sure this is good information. It needs to get out of there. Most people don't even know any of this information that I'm sharing, and you're getting this for free. This is a service that I provide because I do truly believe in educating people about medical topics, and this is the perfect opportunity to get this information for free. So definitely like it, comment, share it. If you have a topic you want me to cover, definitely jot it down. First and foremost, I just want to remind you that the Dr. Mom Show is a medical resource. It does not take the place of your physician or your child's physician. So definitely get your medical advice and your child's medical advice, treatment plans, and diagnoses from your own physicians, because this show does not take the place of it. So please remember that. Now, I am excited because October is National Bullying Prevention Month. Anybody out there who's ever been bullied? A lot of people have, and people don't really know what bullying is. People think that, you know, your life has to be threatened and you have to be crying and things like that. But no, a lot of times people being mean can step over that line of bullying. And people, one, nowadays aren't necessarily bullied only in person, but can also be bullied online, and that's called cyber bullying. So now there's even more bullying because there's more opportunity to do it, because of course people are online, and of course people are in person with other people. So there's more opportunity, and the rate of bullying has gone up. The other interesting thing about bullying is that it doesn't necessarily even have to be a stranger. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a colleague who you're in the same class with or in the same school with. It can be a parent who's bullying a kid. It can be a sibling who's bullying another sibling. It could be somebody in a relationship who is bullying the other person. And bullying isn't only physical. It's not just hitting or torturing or, you know, punching or pulling somebody's hair. It can also be physical, mental, emotional. So not only is there that physical aspect, but there's also that emotional and mental aspect, because a lot of times if people are bullied, it can stay with them lifelong and affect how they live and things they do. So remember the things you say. Always be kind, because you never know, and always support people. I feel a lot of people do say mean things, and I don't know if they realize it or not. They may not realize how it comes across, but some people can be straight up mean, and definitely support other people who are doing things, and, you know, just give people kudos for what they do. So, of course, as Dr. D, I love giving out some statistics. That's right. Love me some numbers. Always loved math. So, of course, I got to get some statistics out there because, again, today we are talking about how to knock out bullying. That's right. Punch back. I'm just playing. You shouldn't fight back. Somebody's fighting with you. Protect yourself. But so, just so you're aware, last year, 1 out of 5 high schoolers said that they have been bullied, and 1 out of 6 high schoolers said that they were bullied online. So it's crazy because in an average class, there's about 30 students. So that means approximately 6 students out of that classroom are bullied online, and approximately 5 students are bullied in person. I mean, how crazy is that? That's a lot of people. And again, like I said, I feel bullying gets brushed under the rug a lot. So that's pretty crazy. Now, studies also show that adolescents get bullied. So middle schoolers get bullied much more. And we've already talked about this. If you haven't caught my shows about transitioning to virtual learning, depression in kids, things like that, check it out, because poor middle schoolers go through the worst time. They transitioning through puberty. They're figuring out who they are, just figuring out, what it is they want to do with their lives, who they want to hang out with. So it's a really rare time in life, but it's also a time where there's a higher risk of being bullied. And again, other factors that play a role is race. It's been shown that Caucasians are bullied at a higher rate compared to other races. It's also been shown that individuals who are either bisexual, gay, lesbian, or aren't sure of what their sexual orientation is at that point, also in middle school, are at a higher risk at being bullying too. So again, this is crazy at how many kids could potentially be getting bullied. And just so you know, bullying leads to increase of depression, anxiety, insomnia, suicide. And then already with COVID-19, we are in a time where all of the above have increased and the rates have gone up. So it's so important that during this time to really take time to be kind, do some kind acts, do things differently. At the end, I'm going to give you some resources which I think are awesome that you can check out. So some people think that bullying's no big deal and hey, every kid's got to get bullied and blah, blah, blah. But that's not the case. That is not the case at all. A lot of times kids are so scared of going to school, or people may be scared of going to work because it may be a coworker who's bullying them and being mean to them. But again, these can cause significant issues down the road. So from bullying, we're going to switch over to bullies. So what about the bullies, the people who are bullying other people? So studies show that most bullies, so these are the people who bully other people, are being bullied by somebody else. So it's almost like an act of power. It is an act of power because if somebody else is being mean to them and bullying them, taking their things, abusing them, now they're coming to somebody who's helpless or more helpless than them, I should say, and they're bullying them in order to regain that just feeling and that thought of power. So you have to realize that, and just, that isn't everybody. It's not everybody who's bullied becomes a bully. No. It's just that studies have shown there's a higher risk of people who are bullied that become bullies. And just so you know, there's people who are bullied who don't go back and bully other people. They turn around and continue to do acts of kindness, and they're just stellar. Now, studies have also shown that people who have underlying behavioral issues such as ADD, ADHD, OCD, or oppositional defiant disorder, are at higher risk of bullying others. And, I haven't seen anything that's like a physiological connection why people do that. It may just be, sometimes a lot of those kids, especially with oppositional defiant disorder, they have a lot of anger issues. So that's something that can be portrayed as bullying. So now we're going to move on to cyberbullying, which is something that's very sad to me that even happens. So again, the cyberbullying usually occurs, the most common ways are over social platforms. So essentially, the social platforms that we have, people can get harassed and bully on these platforms. But people can also get bullied over text if somebody gets your number, voicemails, again, if somebody gets your number, emails, they can get bullied through all of these things. So that's something to also be aware of. You'll hear me say over and over again that you should really monitor the amount of screen time that your child's doing. And one part of it, know what they are doing and what's happening, because you need to know if there is cyberbullying going on, whether they're the victim or they're the bully. It's just good to know. Now, unfortunately, in our society, of course, there's people who only care about themselves and care about making money. So, of course, there's apps out there. I just want to tell you there are apps out there that are anonymous apps where people can go on and post anything about anyone. And you don't need anybody's permission. You can post a picture, whether it's embarrassing or not embarrassing. You can post profanity about somebody. It doesn't matter what it is. And it has become a horrible problem in schools because unfortunately, since these apps are anonymous, schools and parents are unable to track exactly who is posting the items. So there's tons of articles out there about kids who unfortunately are being bullied, cyber bullied, I should say, with these apps. And I just want to take the time to say, it's unfortunate that people out there would create apps like this that people can get on and degrade other people. And I know, unfortunately, again, people who make items like that, really their bottom line is money. They don't care about people, their feelings, their health. Because you have to remember, some people commit suicide because of being bullied. So again, this is a serious, serious problem. So make sure you know what apps your kids are downloading, because you don't want them to have any apps like that. Now, I'm just going to give you some warning signs that if your child is being bullied, some things to keep an eye out for. So if your child is being bullied, you'll see that they start to isolate themselves. So this is harder if you already have a child who's quiet and all, if it's like an only child, they usually hang out by themselves anyway. But if you have a child who's always been very interactive, loves being around the family and people, and all of a sudden they're locking themselves in a room, that's a red flag. If a child all of a sudden has been doing well in school and then there's a decline in their academic performance, if you notice a change in their appetite, whether they're eating more so, we see that kids will eat less and kind of just push their food around on the plate. All of a sudden, a decrease in self-esteem where, you have a child who was overall confident, doing well, never talked about their self-esteem, never put themselves down, and all of a sudden now are putting themselves down. And as I mentioned before, any signs of depression, insomnia, not wanting to go to school, that's huge. Or if there's an activity, if they play a sport that somebody on the team is bullying them, they may say, I don't want to go to soccer practice or basketball practice, football practice, whatever the case may be, and getting into fights. So all of a sudden these kids come home, they have a bruise on their eye, a black eye, and they're, usually they're just like, don't worry about it, leave me alone, I don't want to talk about it. So these are just some signs that if you notice your child behaving in any of these manners, again, you should speak to your child's physician, talk to your school, the guidance counselor, the principal, your child's teacher, to figure out what's going on and why these changes have occurred. Now, on the flip side, we're going to talk about signs that your child is bullying others. So if your child is aggressive and irritable, and their friends are aggressive, irritable, violent, vandalizing things, stealing things, if your child is getting into trouble all the time, getting called to the principal's office, getting detention, just outright not doing well at all, that's a warning sign. And of course, having items that are not theirs. So of course, they're stealing. A lot of times bullies will take the victims either money or items such as books or keychains or whatever may be going on. When there were things that are happening like cards or tokens, whatever is popular at that time, video games, they can be taking them. And that's one thing, that if your child is being bullied and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I didn't eat lunch, I lost my money, or if they keep saying that they keep losing things at school, that they're losing things, that's also a sign that your child may be getting bullied. But again, as I mentioned, if your child is getting a whole bunch of stuff that you did not buy them and you're seeing all this stuff and it's coming from school, again, that's a warning sign that your child could be bullying others. Now, you may ask yourself, if somebody's getting bullied, why don't they just come say something? Why don't they tell a teacher, tell their parents? But I just want to make it so clear today that bullying is very embarrassing, it's degrading, it's humiliating, and a lot of times people don't want to talk about it. These people who are bullied become victims, and they lose that trust in people, in others. So at the same time, you need to understand that if somebody's being bullied, they may say, oh, if I tell my mom, if I tell my dad, they're going to make fun of me. They're going to say like, oh, well, how are you getting bullied? Like, you should fight back. What's wrong with you? How could you let this happen? And they may not also trust that the other person that they tell may not even start bullying them, you know? So there's a lot of items that go into it when it comes to trust. So that's why, again, we need to provide a good environment for our kids to feel comfortable to talk to us. And this is something else you'll hear me say over and over again, that when things are going well, you should have a good relationship with your child. Because if you speak with them consistently, if you know what's going on with them and ask them how they're doing consistently, when something goes wrong, like if they're bullying somebody or if they're being bullied, especially if they're being bullied, they will come to you and they will let you know what's going on. But again, if you don't have that relationship on a regular basis when things go well, you know, how do you expect them to come to you if they are being bullied? They're going to be embarrassed. So again, the things that we can do to make a better, a safer, a more comfortable environment for kids to approach us is number one, that communication. Have that communication in the good times and the bad times. Whether stuff's happening, whether stuff's not happening, you should still have that good communication. So if anything does happen, your child feels comfortable to approach you. And then, of course, education, educating your child. So we all get the birds and the bees talk, right? All get it. I know at least 99% of you have gotten the birds and the bees talk, or at least have given it to your child. Now, I just want to ask you something. How many people have gotten or given their child a bullying talk about what to expect or what to do if you are bullied and how to react and how to handle that situation? It's probably less than 10% of people who are watching. And again, look, I'm sure at least 99% of people who are watching did get the birds and the bees talk. So this is something to consider to add to your conversations with your child so they'll know, hey, if something happens, if somebody's acting in that manner, how do I respond? Who do I go to? You know, so then this also steps up that communication level. If it does happen, they'll say, hey, you know, mom or dad or my parents talked to me about this. I'm going to let them know what's going on. And with communication, also, you want to remember to communicate with your child's teacher and their school. Because a lot of times little instances happen that maybe somebody in the class threw something at somebody's head or stepped on somebody or did something, and they may not say anything, but they may not know that outside of the class, things are escalating. And that's just minor things that are happening in the classroom. So that's why it's important that, you know, when you have parent teacher conferences, ask how your child's getting along with other kids and, you know, if anything's happening. And I will say right here, you know, I'm so grateful for my parents. My parents have always showed my sister and I so much love. They've always taken time out for us. You know, they're workhorses, but throughout my life, my parents have always taken time out with us, and we've always had family time. We've always had devotion and just done things together as a family. And to be honest, I would rather hang out with my family than friends any day because there's so much fun. We're always just cracking up and laughing. And, you know, that's the way, that's what I strive for, to replicate. My husband and I strive to replicate that relationship with ourselves and with our tripsies so they grow up comfortable and they grow up loving us. And of course, you know, they grow up that they don't want to hang out with their friends. They want to hang out with me. They're like, oh yeah, I just want to hang out with my mama. So I challenge you this week or even this month, as we're doing bullying prevention awareness, that you just look at your kids, look at your relationship with them and see what are the positives, what are the great things. Of course, start there. What's awesome and special about your family? What's something that you all do together that you're just like, I love this and I want this tradition to continue? And on the flip side, I want you to also think about ways that you can improve your family relationship, whether it's eating dinner together more or going on a walk more or having just, you know, a sit down time where you talk or having devotion, whatever it is, write that down. And I challenge you to start doing that in your family, and you will see how your relationship will grow. So I challenge you with that. So, what about those who bully? How can we intervene? So, first and foremost, if you have somebody who's bullying, you need to make sure that they're aware that the way they're acting is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. And they need to be held accountable. But at the same time, those individuals also need help. They also need support because, one, you need to figure out what's triggering them to bully others. And then two, is there something underlying that needs to be treated? Like we talked about the potential of behavioral issues that can occur. Well, I know this was a lot of information about bullying. I hope nobody out there is being bullied or worse so, bullying other people. So again, this week, check out, Dr. Mom and Matripsies. We are giving you acts of kindness and sharing that with you on how to be kind, how to do something extra kind. And we should be doing acts of kindness every single day. That's nothing special. That's nothing that we should say for a certain time. Every single day, you should be doing an act of kindness. And just so you know, Monday, our act of kindness was holding the door for somebody. So going out of our way to hold the door. Tuesday was doing a compliment, sharing a compliment with somebody. And then Wednesday, you can check out the video on Instagram. So again, I challenge you to be kind, say nice words, watch how you're treating people, and be careful. It's okay to joke around and make fun of, your friends and family, but there's that fine line of making fun of people that you don't want to hurt people's feelings or make them feel like they're a victim in regards to what you're saying. So, of course, again, check out the Dr. Mom Show right here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. And then every Tuesday on radiolove.com at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Dr. Mom Show podcast goes live for the week. So you can always check that out if you're in your car. Most of the new cars have Apple Podcasts on there, so you can check it out. The Dr. Mom Show is on multiple platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Again, you can go to Radio Love. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel for the Dr. Mom Show. And of course, don't forget there to follow on Instagram at drmom_show or to like the Dr. Mom Show on Facebook. And then finally, don't forget to check out drdeleenmushalak.com because there's always something new and amazing going on with Dr. Mom. I got some awesome workshops coming up at the end of this year, so stay posted. Don't forget, be kind and say nice words. Don't forget to do acts of kindness every day this week and every day going forward. And of course, don't forget to always wash your hands, kiss your kids, love your family, and say your prayers good night. See you guys. Bye-bye.